I had not visited my mother in almost 2 years. After my divorce, I moved to another city and stopped calling often. We still talked sometimes, but our conversations felt short and careful, like strangers trying to sound polite. One rainy afternoon, she suddenly called me. "I cleaned your old room," she said softly. "You should come take your things." Something in her voice felt strange. Tired, maybe. Or nervous. When I arrived, the house looked smaller than I remembered. The old clock still ticked loudly in the living room. The smell of tea leaves and dust filled the air. My mother smiled at me, but her hands kept moving nervously on her apron. I spent hours opening old boxes from my childhood. School books, broken toys, birthday cards. Then I found the family albums. I sat on the floor and slowly turned the pages. There were photos of my parents, my graduation, and even my wedding day. But suddenly, I noticed something strange. There were no baby pictures of me. Not one. I checked another album. Then another. Still nothing. "Mom," I asked quietly, "where are my baby photos?" She froze near the kitchen door and looked away immediately. The next morning, the rain had stopped, but the house still felt cold and heavy. My mother was already awake when I entered the kitchen. She stood near the stove, quietly stirring soup, even though it was still early morning. Usually, she talked while cooking. Small things. Neighbors. Television shows. Grocery prices. But that morning, she said almost nothing. I sat at the table and watched her carefully. Every time our eyes met, she quickly looked somewhere else. My chest felt tight. Finally, I spoke. "Please tell me the truth about the photos." Her hand stopped moving. For a few seconds, only the sound of boiling water filled the room. Then she slowly sat across from me. Her face looked pale and tired, like she had not slept all night. "There are things I never wanted you to know," she whispered. I felt suddenly nervous. "What things?" She stood again without answering and walked into her bedroom. A minute later, she returned holding an old brown envelope. The edges looked soft from age. Inside was a small photograph. A young woman held a baby in her arms. The baby was me. "That woman," my mother said carefully, "was your real mother." I could not speak. My ears rang loudly. I looked again at the woman's face. I had never seen her before, but something about her eyes felt familiar. My mother started crying quietly. "She was my younger sister," she said. "She became very sick after you were born. A few months later, she died." I stared at the photo silently. All my childhood memories suddenly felt different. Then my mother whispered the part that hurt most. "I hid the photos because I was afraid you would stop calling me your mother." I stayed at my mother's house for 3 more days after learning the truth. We still ate together every day, but the silence between us felt different now. Sometimes she looked at me like she wanted to say something, then quietly looked away again. One afternoon, I opened the family albums by myself. This time, the empty spaces did not feel cold anymore. They felt sad. Before leaving, I stood near the front door, holding the old photograph carefully in my hands. "Why did you keep this picture?" I asked softly. My mother touched the photo gently and smiled through tears. "Because I wanted you to know her face one day," she whispered. On the train ride home, I kept staring at the young woman holding me in her arms. I wondered what my life would have been like if she had lived. But I also thought about the woman who stayed beside me during fevers, heartbreaks, and failures. The woman who packed my school lunches. The woman who waited for my phone calls. I still felt hurt. Maybe I would for a long time. But deep inside, I knew something important had not changed. She was still my mother. Would you still call her mother after learning the truth? Tell me honestly in the comments. Divorce means the end of a marriage. Strangers means people who do not know each other. Rainy afternoon means a wet and cloudy day. Softly means in a quiet and gentle way. Strange means unusual or unexpected. Nervous means worried and uneasy. Childhood means the time when you were a child. Family albums means books of family photos. Graduation means finishing school. Wedding day means the day you got married. Noticed means saw and realized. Froze means stopped moving suddenly. Looked away means turned her eyes aside. Truth means what is real. Pale means very light in color. Whispered means spoke very quietly. Envelope means a paper cover for letters. Real mother means biological mother. Familiar means known in some way. Childhood memories means memories from when you were young. Afraid means feeling fear. Silence means complete quiet. Empty spaces means places with nothing in them. Tears means drops from crying. Staring means looking for a long time. Wondered means thought deeply about. Heartbreaks means times of emotional pain. Failures means times when things went wrong. Hurt means emotionally wounded. Deep inside means in your heart. Important means very meaningful.